What is up, Dragon Ballers, and welcome to another player profile with Josh. We've got Jamie from Scrub Games here today. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Josh. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. It's great to have you on. How you been? How you been enjoying the new Zenkai format?
I've been having a lot of fun. Doing quite well. Just trying to play as much as I can from it. Like, been trying a few decks. Trying to stick to, if I'm playing in a big event, playing something serious, and then for like locals and stuff, trying to find something fun, and interested. In something so new, and I wanted to try and make the yellow piccolo work. So just try and like fun things like that.
Which one? I mean, there's like three of them, right? At this point.
I play all of them. I love Piccolo. I've got the first yellow one built. I've been trying. I've been having a lot of fun with that. I've been trying to make the second one work, but since we're getting a third Piccolo leader, I've kind of like stopped with that now. Gone focused on the new one, so it looks a little bit better.
Oh, what from the set coming out soon, or?
Yeah, from set 19.
Yeah, it looks pretty good with the blocker ability and stuff. All right,
The fact you don't lose cards from drawing is that like straight away to first plus.
That's obviously helpful compared to the first one where you have to ditch something to draw, pretty much.
Yeah.
And play stuff from your drop area. Yeah, and I mean in this current meta, it's not great. So, but yeah, guys, if you haven't watched any of these before, we'll basically be doing a short interview in this part, and then there'll be part 2 coming up in the next few days, which will be a game between us, and we will be playing I'll be playing the new Goku starter deck, and Jamie will be playing the new Pycon deck. So, well, say new, but fairly new.
It's at least a deck with Pycons actually featured in it, not just slapped on the leader.
Yeah. From what I heard, the old deck was just pretty much a rework of Gogeta or something.
Yeah, basically.
All right,
it's like having a bottle of Coke, but it's actually Pepsi inside, just Coke on the label.
Yeah, that's a criminal thing. All right, so let's get into this interview then. So, how did you first get into the game and take interest in Dragon Ball CCG?
I can't remember now because I've been playing this since the start of the game, like since the set game first came out. I've been playing because I've bounced around for a few games. Started off in Yu-Gi-Oh, and then once I got less interested in that, I just went into Final Fantasy. And while I was playing that, I did go like find out about the card game, our local store. So I went down. They had like a starter deck event, which I missed because I couldn't attend it. So I thought I'd go after, and I got introduced to it for that. So I just popped to my local store. They didn't have any starter decks left, but they've cracked some of the first set, and in that first set, they managed to build one full deck and a few like half decks. And the one full deck they did manage to build was the yellow Ginyu Force back from set 1, which is my favorite bunch of characters from the all of Dragon Ball.
Fair enough.
Instant hyped that like the first deck I get to play is Ginyu Force. So I got on that, tried the mechanics, trying to learn how to play, watched like a few of the American streams and stuff to like learn the basics, and just got hooked from there. Because out of any kind of like anime thing, Dragon Ball is my favorite. So getting a card game with such amazing mechanics as it has just hooked me straight away from day one. So literally, it's down to my local store and my sensei Martin who got me into it.
Yeah, fair enough. So what affinity do you have with Ginyu Force? Are you into posing and being dramatic?
No,
I actually, I mean, I'll be straight. I got a passionate hate for that Jace character because he in the Dragon Ball Z English dub, the voice actor doesn't know whether he's trying to be English or Australian, and it just grinds me. It just grinds me every day that I see that. Well, yeah, no, go on.
I don't know what it is about Ginyu Force, but they just seem like very goofy and interesting. Like they're like a proper like team together, like quite goofy and quite strong. And then like Ginyu seems pretty bust. Like he just felt to me really busted, and I thought he can just any point just swap with you.
Yeah.
Kick your ass with your own like abilities. I thought that was pretty sick.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy Ginyu. I thought they were hilarious personally as well. So to tell everyone, what are your? I mean, over the last year, you've been topping a lot in in-person events. What are your achievements in competitive Dragon Ball since you've been playing all the way from the start?
All the way from the start.
I'm
I've
assuming.
forgotten about it now.
I'm assuming you played some regionals and stuff back before COVID,
Yeah,
and
I've tried to go to like mostly all the big events in that I've been in the UK at least.
hmm
I did manage to at the first UKG place in the top. I think it's top 8 or top 16 they had. I think it was top 8. With back when we had Veku Ramp back during the days when like Virginia Mill was like uh, at its strongest.
hmm
I didn't do too well the last. Oh, I didn't enter the last finals that we had before the one that's coming up this year, and the one before I did just miss out playing Janemba Mill. Just got unlucky with one of the matchups and then threw it. But apart from that, I've been doing quite well. It's more that this year I've been doing a lot better because we've actually been playing. Because when we had COVID and stuff, I didn't like playing in webcam because of all the like the stuff around it with a lot of people attempting to cheat. Like I think it was mainly with like any webcam event, there is also always some incident of cheating or like
yeah,
some accusation. So I just didn't try. I started in the beginning trying webcams, and the first two webcam events we had with Car Market here, I managed to top getting. I think it was third. I think no, third or second with Dark Broly back before it became busted, like when it first came out, and then the second time with Green Gotenks coming in seventh, I think it was, or ninth. And then from this year, I've been trying to attend as many of the since we got in-person events this year in the UK. I've been trying to attend every single one, so I attended all the fest events I could. So 3 out of 4 because 2 happened in the same day in different locations. I managed to win 2 of them and miss out on the last one due to an issue I don't want to get into for the Cardiff one. So I managed to win one with Android 18 mil, the second one the day after with Red Jiren, and then at UKG, which we had not too long ago, I managed to get third place with Red Jiren on one day and 7th place with Blue Bojack on the other day.
yeah, really
And
good success.
yeah, and I can't remember if we had another event since.
Yeah, we had the London regionals very
Oh yeah,
recently.
on the London regionals, I managed to get top 4 with Red Yellow Sim.
Yeah, so yeah, really good success, and I'm assuming you're going to be wanting to take this momentum into the Euro Championships and try and get top 16 or
Yeah,
even
100%.
higher.
We got a load of us going, and it just could be testing properly now. Like once we get the anniversary box, which should come out for us next week. It's just
Fingers
gonna be
crossed,
proper
yeah.
testing.
Fingers
Hopefully,
crossed.
yeah. Hopefully, yeah. I'm not sure. Like I want to take a certain deck, but since we have no ban list and no set 19, it's kind of changed a little bit because I want to make sure I take what I think is the best option. So it's still in the works what I
Yeah,
want
of
to take so far.
course. Yeah, I mean, you may as well keep your options open until you've done some serious testing, but at least we have clarity on how it's going to be. So it's good to
Yeah,
know.
that's the
It's
best thing.
definitely an advantage, I think, for
Yeah.
because obviously in the US it's different, and they will have the ban list. So
Yeah, the fact that we've got the ban list confirmed this far in advance is one shocking and two amazing because we actually get like now I think it's a full 4 weeks of actually testing, whereas normally we'd get it 2 weeks before, and yeah, 4 weeks over 2 weeks is obviously good.
yeah, absolutely. So how much do you practice, and what ways do you practice? Here's a good pl- moment to plug your locals.
Uh, that's kind of like It comes down to what you assume is testing really, because
Well, I
I don't
mean, like I say, how do you practice? You know, it doesn't have to be with people necessarily.
oh yeah, because yeah, I don't get the test all that long because only recently I've been going back to my locals to on a Thursday. But because I didn't have a locals to go to, or didn't go to my locals for a while during COVID, I was in the same spot as most people in the UK, where like you didn't really have many places to actually test. So I started doing free locals, free Discord, because one of the things that people like doing is playing with their actual cards. Like me, I like actually testing with actual physical cards rather than online.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
And
me too. I'm not a massive fan of Untap, but
yeah,
I really do enjoy just playing with the cards.
yeah, because Untap is a nice way to actually kind of like test the basics of decks. Yeah, test the basics of a deck to try and see if you want to invest in it. But like actually testing with cards is where it's properly done. And with your actual cards, you actually get to test with what you have access to, rather than untap you can test with something you're never get access to, and it's a bit pointless because if you're never going to get that card, you can't really get any effective testing out of it.
Yeah.
And in person, you actually get to have the enjoyment of playing with your cards against people.
Yeah, of
So
course. Yeah, we all love shiny cardboard, right? So
yeah, everybody loves to use shiny cardboard, and I just thought it'd be nice to actually play together. And we got like a little group we got which like to play together and like get a bit of discussion going. So to go along with my YouTube and stuff, I made a Discord server to like chat and like just like for the what try and put it as a UK or EU Discord to just chat and have fun. And along with that, I thought about potentially doing a free locals, so that way, because as I said, with some of the webcam events we've had, where there's been like pricing online, people have been attempting to cheat,
yeah,
and
of course, yeah.
or actual cheating or attempting to, and it's kind of giving it a bad taste for a lot of people. So I thought we'd try and put out there to see if people were interested in doing a webcam locals, which had no prize, no participation. You just came along, tested, had fun, and just got to play a game using your cards.
Yeah, social
And
activity as well on top of
yeah,
that.
so yeah, you actually be social with people mainly, and it would start off mainly in the UK. So it's normally people around in different parts got together to play, and that started off probably at the beginning of the year. I just been using that to test, just playing on webcam locals, trying a different deck each time. But outside of that, I normally do like shadow testing, where I'm not actually playing against anybody. What I'm doing is shuffling my deck, looking at what cards I open with, kind of test how consistent a deck can be through just drawing and seeing what I start off with.
Yeah, and imagining opponents, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
Like imagining damage and swings, etc. Yeah, I do that
So
as well.
imagine if we got an opponent, and since we're a deck which we got a leader card, just treat it as they always get their leader card swing. So like at least you're getting swung at once to trying to test how consistent your deck can be through just testing the open hand. And that's literally the main way I test outside the webcam locals.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can agree on that. That's a really good way to test because you at least know what cards you're going to see generally.
Yeah.
And you can if you play the decks that you're testing against, you can you know what's realistic for damage output and what So it's definitely a great way and a great practice to have when you're initially building decks, especially. Because like I'll do that before I play a game with a person, just so I know what to expect rather than going in blind and being like, okay, that's not consistent enough. I just got battered.
Yeah, because one of the best things I find with playing a deck is understanding it, and if you put a little bit of theory in like what it can do, then do a little bit of testing without someone to just test. Right, I've got these cards in hand. What can I do for this turn? Right, next turn 2. What can I do to learn like the first few turns? You get a little bit like stronger of an understanding and how to like go against anything until you learn. Then you go on to do the different matchup knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So moving on. What is your favorite deck and why?
Favorite deck.
You can give 3 reasons as to why it's your favorite deck, and it doesn't have to be one that's legal now. It can be just something from the past that you just really, at that point you were like fully immersed into the game, or it could be right now.
I think there's been a lot of decks.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially with you playing different stuff weekly, and just something I try and do at my locals actually as well. It's a fun way to.
I think I'm gonna go with Android 18 Mil as my favorite deck.
Oh really? Because you actually you won the fest that I played at, my first ever competitive event with that deck.
Trying to think of whatever deck I've played, but I think the most enjoyment I've got is playing that deck. And 3 reasons probably would be
auto win.
Yeah. The first one would be like it was probably the strongest mill deck, because unlike most mill decks like Janemba mill and stuff we've got, they mill over time like small amounts.
Yeah.
This one was just
mill 100.
Like just in one go, like set yourself up to a point where you can just swing once, mill them out in a single turn. That's it, game over in one turn, like a 1-turn kill, but not straight at the first start of the game.
Yeah.
It also was a blue deck, so it had like tons of defense and stuff like that. So yeah, I beat Hatch, losing the gates just stop.
Kind of ironic with your mantra of F blue.
Yeah,
Get it tattooed on you.
how it played is how I hate blue as well. Like you just don't play the game, you just defend, defend,
So
defend.
so what you're telling us is it's a love-hate relationship
Yeah,
because it's your favorite
I,
deck ever, but you hate
it's
it.
probably my yeah, it's my favorite deck ever that probably we've had, and it just incorporates everything I hate.
Yeah, I love
I
it.
still love it. And then the last thing is that like it's it's essentially kill swing of milling your opponent out in one turn can be completely uninteractable. If
Yeah,
like I did want to secure the win at Fest, the fact that I could have like Baby Hatch to end their turn, go to my turn, -5 on the Baby Unison to make my 2 golden apes free to play by just discarding 2 other cards, meant
mm-hmm.
that I've got on the turn I got one to protect playing Freezer, and then one to protect Freezer going through to make sure that kill swing was just there, 100% win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unreal, and that's how you actually beat Tom, didn't you, in the final,
Yeah, that's how
using
I finished
using
it.
that exact. He had counters himself, but he just didn't have enough. So
Yeah, because where
the deck
I mean,
the deck was actually swiftly banned after that event, wasn't it?
yeah, it was like it was
Because there was another teammate, I believe, won a regional using it as well. So
yeah, like it was swiftly after. I think yeah, because someone wanted to borrow it off me to play for the Nottingham Fest after, and I was going to let them play it, but they decided not to after. Now they regret it because it just got hit straight after, and like
yeah,
tamed unplayability, which is a shame. But it's understandable because it was so interactive.
yeah. I mean,
It wasn't fun.
they basically if you don't know, guys, the strategy was create a bunch of tokens on the opponent's side, then use the freezer, blue red freezer, which basically on swing it mills 2 cards for each battle card, is it something like that?
2 cards for every card it minuses.
Yeah, so it hits every card on the field, but they basically removed it so that tokens weren't affected,
Yeah,
and
one hits tokens, which is
completely
just killed the deck.
ruin the win. Gone. Yeah. So, all right. So moving on. What compelled you to start making content and becoming a content creator within the Dragon Ball realms?
The main reason I got into making content was because as I said, I've been playing other games. I started off with Yu-Gi-Oh, switched to Final Fantasy, and in both those games, one of my favorite formats to play was Cube Draft,
Yeah.
and
So
that's similar to like
explain what Cube Draft is for people that don't know.
so Cube Draft is something similar to pre-release where you build a deck using things you pull out of the packs you're given. So in the pre-release, you're given like 6 packs. You open them and then you build a deck using them. But in Cube Draft, basically the packs you get is a constructive list, like cards you've already picked up, put together, and made into like a little cube for say of cards, and then you draft as you would a normal draft, not a pre-release draft, but a normal one, where you pick up a pack of cards or like a pile of cards, pick one from them, pass it on, and then keep going until that pack is picked, and then do with that until all packs are picked, and then using the cards you've picked from the packs, you build a deck using that. And Cube Draft is essentially just you do that, but you have a constructed list of cards you've got to use to build decks.
Mm-hmm.
So the one I normally do for any game is a Highlander one where you can only include 1 copy of any card. So that way it comes down to if whatever cards you have, no one else is going to have. So you can hate picture in the draft to take something out so no one else can have it if you're like afraid of it, or just be happy that you've got a powerful card that no one else has access to. And the fun thing with it is there's some cards that are banned, like the Trunks one that you can combo with to gain like untap an energy when you combo it turn your turn.
Yeah.
Like in the normal format that would be busted. In cube format, it's just like okay, I get an extra energy. That's is not busted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where I like when I was before I started, I was looking into it to see like building a cube draft for Dragon Ball, and I was looking around on YouTube, couldn't find anything on it, and I thought that was a big shame that there's nothing about cube drafting for Dragon Ball, and a lot of people that tried it out with me loved it. So I thought if there's nothing out in there, it'd be good to put something out there. So that's the reason I put together my channel, was mainly to put out cube draft information. So if anybody was interested in cube draft in Dragon Ball, there's something out on there, and
Yeah.
it just grew to being not just cube draft, other things, and to where I am today.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, you put out a lot of content currently. I believe it's once every weekday, right? Pretty much,
Yeah,
or
it's like almost once every week. They're like at least 3 times a week. There's normally something out.
yeah, that's incredible. It's really hard work to keep on top of that kind of stuff and keep it interesting. And yeah, no, it's good to see. So yeah, I mean, if you want to quickly, where can you find your socials so people can go and check it
So
out, because it's very informative, guys. Very in depth breakdowns of tournaments, as well as footage of you playing at the locals, and lots of deck profiles. Really great deck profiles, guys. So as you heard earlier in the interview, Jamie's been winning a lot. So you know he's obviously a person you need to listen to. So where can they find your material?
So if they want to check out my YouTube where I've got all my like uploads, because as you said, I stream on Twitch as well. So that'd be if you want to check me out on Twitch, you just have to find me by the tag Scrub Games DBS, because unfortunately Scrub Games is taken by someone else that add DBS on it. That makes it easier to find because it's for Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find me streaming on there every Friday for the webcam locals I host. And if you do miss that, then you can always find me on my YouTube, which is Scrub Games on YouTube, which has like my uploads from the webcam locals put up. So if people don't see it, just want to see games, the uploads there. And I put the deck list I've been playing in another video on there, and other things like news videos on a Sunday, breakdowns of sets, deck profiles, ideas, and even coverage of events. Like I've been covering most of the EU events to put that information out there because we don't seem to get it much. And if you do want to like keep up to date when the locals are happening or about it or about any information, I have a Facebook page as well, which is Scrub Games on Facebook, which you can just easily look. And it's normally posted on the main group once, I think once every Friday, advertising the locals.
Yeah, nice. So, yeah, I mean, it's like I say, it's up to date and informative. You're posting a lot of stuff weekly, so it's definitely something that people should subscribe to if they're interested in the current news of the game. So, all right, so a couple more little questions before we switch to the game. Yeah, we've still got a few minutes here, so a quick one: which card do you think should be banned that's not banned currently?
Ooh, which card I think should be banned?
Like outright, just bang, gone.
I always feel like Turning the Tide is straight up the one that should be banned.
Yeah,
No,
I can agree with that.
I understand things like what's it? The Fu Shroud was banned because even though you meant to close off the game late, you shouldn't make it so your opponent can't interact with you. And if Fu Shroud was banned because it literally just shuts off all your opponent's effects, Turning the Tide coming down that you can stop from coming down, they basically take away all your options to defend yourself and leave your opponent with theirs is a bit unfair.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think you already answered this earlier, but which card do you think shouldn't be banned / errated? Would you say the the freezer? Say your Android 18 was still alive?
So but then I do agree with the Rack Fact 6 that deck was so uninteractable.
Yeah.
But I feel like trying to figure out like one thing that I think shouldn't be banned is the Arrival Bojack Violent Rush. Like it shouldn't have been. I feel like it shouldn't have been banned. It should have been instead limited to like errata to be. Even though I don't like erratas, it should have been errata to be only playable. Like can only be played if your leader is a Bojack card.
Yeah.
Because that way it does what it's meant to do, which is support the Bojack deck, especially yellow one that needed a support.
Yeah.
And so still has access to that for the deck it was made for, but isn't spammable like they did it with other things, like how they changed the what's it called, Galactic Buster.
Yeah.
That to being only playable with a Bojack leader because every blue deck was playing it instead.
Yeah, because I mean, it's an amazing card. Let's be real. That's for
they could have done the same treatment for Violent Rush with that.
Yeah. Okay. So final question. What's your opinion of the state of the game in general currently? And how, what do you want to see in the future of competitive play and card creation? It's quite a broad question, but basically, how do you want to see the game moving forward, and what's your opinion on how things are going currently?
With the thing at the moment, I know like it doesn't seem that bad to me because even though this is mainly like as Lookouts put out, there is the majority of decks are just red. They're not really just red. They're mainly the brand new 2 cards. So I know there's a lot of hate on red being busted at the moment, but it's not really red that's busted. It's Sin and Gogeta who are a league of their own. Like they're one of those decks that are out of the league of their color and in their own separate identity, being like just busted decks and dominating the format. So I feel like even though they've only just come out, something should be done about that. And I feel
Yeah.
like probably with Sin, the best thing you can do with that is limit the 4-drop to 1, because it kind of curbs down the fact that it can bring out a. Because the worst thing with playing against Sin is when on turn 2, when you're on 1 energy, they drop a 20k double strike for 1 energy to replace itself, and then
Yeah.
swing and push through a 20 to 30k double strike crit.
And also minus 20k something.
Yeah, and minus
and
20k something as well.
yeah, so yeah,
But getting hit in the face by a double strike crit makes you lose advantage, and they've lost nothing. They've probably plus or got broke even.
Yeah.
While you still only had 1 turn is unfair. So limit down to 1 would just restrict how often they can do that with having a 4-drop in deck. And once you get later on the turn, then you've got more energy to actually do things like stop the 8-drop from attacking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the big thing with SS4 Gogeta, the deck on its own is fine. Like there's nothing too busted out of the deck. It's mainly that 8-drop.
Yeah.
Is just way too powerful.
Do you think they should? Do you think? Do you think they should limit the limit the draw engine cards as well, so you can only use 1 Goku and 1 Vegeta per turn, so you could still have the same effect, but just not use the same card? I feel like that would make it a little bit more balanced.
That would probably make sense, yeah, because it is still keep them able to do 1 of each to keep the.
Yeah, so you can so you don't destroy it. You just lower how overly consistent the deck can be, because to make it more, just a little bit more difficult. I think that would balance it slightly.
Yeah, that would make it a little bit more easier, because that way because they can spam out two of those each turn. We're using lead in unison.
Yeah, exactly.
If they've got 2 of the Goku, they could think I can drop 1, but I can't do the other one.
Yeah, so I mean that would make searching for rivals more of an important card as well, obviously, so they can grab the Goku or whatever. But I feel like that might slow it down just a tad, without like really breaking it completely. So,
but with the format going forward,
do you think there's any decks that can compare to
no, like SS4 and Sin are just in league their own. They do so much for so cheap, and I think really the main thing Banner need to do what they can do is actually just like rethink how they do colors. If you look at this with the most current set, both the Z leaders for red were free, while most of them need a cost. Even this new set, they need a cost to do anything like the Z leaders and stuff like that. While these 2 red decks have it for free. You might be and then some of them are even a higher life total than some of the other ones need that also need to pay energy. So I think they need to just like rethink how they design cards, because you've got such big disparity between some of the colors, some of the decks. It's just unreal.
Yeah, and it's causing a lot of complaint as well, really, in reality.
Because if you go to anybody that's complaining about SS4 or Sid and ask them whatever decks were in set 18, they might have to take a few seconds to actually think about what actually was in the other set, because I had that issue as well. Like someone mentioned about SS4, and I had to really think about what else was in that set.
Yeah.
Because those 2 decks just take up the whole thing.
Yeah, they really do. Well, fingers crossed. I mean, there is a ban list coming soon, and I'm sure they will address the situation, because it's not like people are quiet about it, and the tops of recent times have been predominantly red. So
yeah, hopefully something's done. Something's done, not to just neuter them.
Unfortunately, it won't be done in time for our finals. So.
But we're just gonna have to grind our teeth and just play the decks.
Do you think that's what it's gonna be?
Yeah, if it's not a majority of red, I'll be surprised when we get to our finals.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So, any quick shout outs and plugs before we turn off the camera for a second?
Shout out to our team minus 2, probably the best team in the UK. like going strong all this year, like along with me being like Ollie from Big O Notation, and our teammates Andre, Biscuit, Sam, and Damien. Like we've all been trying to attend as many events as possible, and all like most of the time when we go to an event, most of our team are in the top 16. I think there's only been once at the event this year we've had one of our members not in the top 16.
Yeah, it's really good. So
yeah, and
very,
also shout out to you guys, Deck Planet, for having the best and only deck builder in the game.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Jamie, and don't forget to check out our part 2 coming up in the next few days, guys, where we will be playing a game. Also, please, if you can, support the website by using the TCGPlayer link in the description to buy your cards, our American friends, because it really does help with the running and costs. We also have a Patreon which you can go in, which will be updated soon. But yeah, thank you guys. We will see you all again very soon. Bye.